All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. We are going to do things a little different, and today I present to you the overload watch list. So if you missed what happened in the stock market today, you came to the right video. We are literally going to go over everything. There was a ton of data, a ton of different news all the way from America to China, but literally we are going to run down every single sector, go over a quick recap. I'm going to go over the laggards and leaders and the big news of all these sectors, and you should pay attention to the screen because I am going to be talking, and what you see on this screen is about to be insane, and you're going to have to watch and listen along. So it's listening will be different. Just watch and listen. So Chad, I hope you're ready for it. I hope you drop your thumbs up on that video. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/the stock market. I think you needed the full one for today for this presentation of the overload watch list. So Chad, let's get right into it. So there is a lot of things that happen. And actually, before I get to the text, I'm going to tease you a little bit. Just take note of what happened here on the market. You see how we went up. We are now back to right around exactly where we closed on Thursday. So a nice little bit of relief. It gets rid of this whole everyday going down. We're still off the highs. We're nowhere near the lows, but this was your first big up day in a while, and now there was a lot of things going into it. So pay attention to the screen. You'll see all of the big things that happen, but if I could summarize a lot of the text that you are about to see right now, it is very simple. It was a lot of soft landing interpretations, and what I mean by that is that a lot of people were feeling very good, and there was a lot of economic data. There was even some bad things. We'll get into that with the earnings, or I'm sure you could see it on here, but overall, the data right when it came out in the morning, most of it came in good, and then a very, very bright spot was the real estate data. So consumer confidence, that came in very good. There was Richmond services and Dallas services, and believe it or not that many people cared, but the real estate data, that was very, very big. So we already scrolled by it, but essentially it came in 12% month over month, and I believe right now the real estate data, the only time real estate data has surprised to the upside this big, it was in 2003 following the tech crash. So there was all of that. Then even in the morning, I probably should have explained how the futures played out because this is all for America. There was a lot of different things, and there was a lot of things that people were discussing, but you obviously saw it was a very green day, but even the futures in the morning were green. But then there was hawkish comments from ECB Lagarde regarding where rate policy would be. And then the thing that got us a little bit up in the morning on the futures was China. You had more people talking about economic stimulus in China data, and I think even the premier, you're going to see it when we get to one of the sectors, but he was discussing oil and China's oil demand in terms of the economic recovery. So it was actually a good day for China. The only thing was bad were the economic comments, and like I already said here, a lot of the data was good. So even then, you're going to have to let me know if I'm scrolling too fast, but that's the quick recap of the broader day before we get into it. There was a lot of notable gainers. I'm going to keep a couple on screen. The one I will tell you about, that's going to be on the decliner, so maybe I'll wait, but Delta Airlines, that was one big one that you could see right here. They gave earnings, or their investor day, they gave an update to their earnings, and things were very good for the travel stocks today. Then even Coinbase, there was news of Fidelity preparing to submit a spot Bitcoin ETF. That helped lift things up a little bit, but even crypto was crazy. There was news about Unity establishing AI. I think even Booking.com, this one's not on there, but there was a lot of different plays today through all of the industries. That's why I wanted to go over it. Then even Eli Lilly, they came out with some updates on their diabetes or weight loss drug, kind of like Ozempic, but they didn't call it Ozempic. And then as far as decliners, this is the one I was waiting for. Walgreens, they had really bad earnings. People were shocked by the EPS. They cut the full year EPS. And even though revenue is good, it's just been a while since Walgreens actually had a good quarter. Then another big decliner, we were watching this throughout the stream all day, Regeneron, they declined declined after getting a response letter from the FDA. They did not get approval. They pretty much got a letter saying what they need to start doing. And then there was, I think Roche even went up as a sympathy play. But that was a couple of the decliners, and even XPOF. Hopefully you're seeing that. But now let's get into the rest of the industry. So like I said, you're going to have to tell me if I'm going too fast. I don't know if I'm going to get all of it on here or not, but as far as tech, it was a very good day for tech. The thing about today was that even though the bonds data made the bond yields go higher, tech got a bid right off of the bat. So there was a lot of individual news. Even the chips did good. We're even getting ready for Micron earnings. They dropped 2.5%, and then they were able to bounce back up. But there was just a lot of good news, and even though rates were higher, this was kind of the first relief day, and everybody started to pick it up. So the basic synopsis that you see right here is just that a lot of individual news from semiconductors to AI pretty much drove things up. We even got to hear from Microsoft a little bit. That was an interesting headline throughout the day about their guidance of $500 billion came up during a court case or something. So there was that. There was a couple of other internet plays. I don't have the decliners on here. I don't think there was really notable ones. So we'll skip ahead to banking and financials. And now bank stocks, they actually did very, very good. And now the thing about the banks, just be careful for the stress test tomorrow. That comes after the bell. So we're going to have the whole day to trade off of it. But that will be a very big factor about today. Other than that, it says that the banks underperform, but in reality, there wasn't even really big bank decliners. And then a lot of those REITs that we talked about yesterday, SLG and the REITs, any like struggling REIT, it just kind of carrying off of that, they even went up. And that's very interesting considering how all of the interest rates moved today. So different categories with the banks and all of that. As far as notable gainers, we went over Coinbase. SoFi went up. There wasn't any news related to it. Then Robinhood, they announced the layoffs, but 3%, I mean, I feel like it could have done better, so not too bad. But now moving into the consumer stocks, we're going to talk about all of them, discretionary as well as staples. So now the staples, they underperformed, and these are the more safer names, more or less, the more kind of you run to the defensives, but the discretionaries, they actually did very good. And now there was a lot of things. I think we should even just kind of skip ahead to the notable decliners and movers because there was a lot going on in discretionary land. And it's even going to relate to the next industry when we go over the industrials, because remember, you had Walgreens earnings, Investor Day from Delta, and then you also had all the economic data and people responding to that. So you had a bunch of different upgrades throughout. Then you even had a short report there on XPOF. That's coming up there. And then now as we are getting ready for earnings season, you're kind of seeing people ramp up into that. And then again, with all of this soft landing stuff, that's where the discretionaries did good. Now, I'd keep an eye out on staples. We've been talking about the rotation as of late, but that has definitely been an interesting one to keep an eye out. And now industrials, this is what I'm saying here. I think all of the data that we had, there was even something regarding Yale. You might have heard about this company. It's like a penny stock now, but it was about like pandemic funds and how this trucking company got it. Then you had updates from like Volkswagen involved with Tesla. Again, that's all related to the EV charging. I think even ChargePoint had something, a little bit of the drama of 3M and everything going on with them. But industrials, again, airlines, all of that, it was a very, very big day for them. And they even outperformed the S&P. But I think as we even get into earnings and even how we've seen a lot of things lately, the consumer stocks and industrials, like right next to all of the tech, this has been a very interesting category. So had a couple of big movers here. SAII, this came up again. They just got an upgrade, but I saw that one run a lot. ChargePoint went up 6. Lucid's not on there. They went up, but that's again EV. But like I brought up in the beginning of the day, Delta, this was a very big one, and all of the airlines had a very, very good day on it. And then you should see something here on like Mobileye. We do have a bunch of conferences coming up, so there was a couple of moves off of stuff like that. And then Yellow Corp, this is the one I was talking about with the trucking one. That was bad. I even forgot Lordstown Motors. They filed for bankruptcy, so it's kind of bittersweet even for some of the EV in general. So that one was interesting. Media and telecom, this was pretty much moving with the SPY. We don't really look at this a lot, but don't forget there's a lot of different industries that are kind of bundled up into this. So even Google, Meta, Spotify, these are all considered media or telecom. So sometimes if it's just telecom, it's really, really boring. But you had a couple of things. Everything else, though, like we said, it was in line with the S&P. Couple of small movers, even ASTS. I think even after the bell, they got clapped a little bit too. They responded to some mega merger or merge market article, something like that. That's what it says. And then moving on to gold, there's not much. There was a lot of central bank stuff, a lot of data, and we even had a little talk today on how gold relates to the Fed and all of that. But here's the thing, gold underperformed a lot. I would only be watching for any Fed policy, but there was a decent amount of moves, and if I wish I had the headlines on here, I took them out, but there was a lot of individual news on gold and mining companies as far as them getting involved with new projects and stuff like that, so be on the lookout if you're interested in that. But other than that, a lot of it, or a lot of the move, or people are talking about gold just simply related to central bank policy and the economic data. But now this is where it starts to get a little crazy, because we have our final sectors, utilities and energy. So I just got the quick headlines here, but overall, I think utilities went up, and this is now, we have a little thing here on natural gas, but don't forget, utilities is everything from like electricity all the way down to like water companies, and then even a little bit of solar, and we did get a lot of solar activity today. So lots of different activity on the analyst front. And then as far as natural gas, you're going to get some data here, but then even weather, that has been coming up a lot here as far as what is important moving forward. But I mean, UNG, it's kind of been moving a little bit. I think it's actually at 16-week high, so I think you could attribute most of that to the weather here. And then you had a couple of these headlines here in the war, but again, the geopolitics too, that's one thing I would say. All of the fears or tensions from yesterday, it pretty much faded. And then even right now, actually after hours, I think that's coming in as an exclusive. U.S. considers new curbs on AI chip exports. Move could crimp China's ability to expand its AI capabilities. Biden admin considers new curbs on AI chip exports to China. I wonder if that is affecting NVIDIA after hours, but either way, I will see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, it's getting a little move right there. I'll see you guys. I'm sure this is going to be what we're going to get into in the morning, so hopefully we see you on stream. But back to the extreme watch list, getting here now into energy. They just gave up all of their gains from yesterday, which was absolutely wild. And why I say that is, one, you had the tensions from yesterday in Russia that quickly faded, but then you had that news in the morning about Premier Li from China saying how they're trying to like boost economic demand and even demand for oil, but it all sold off. And just to give you context, if you want to compare the whole Saudi Arabia thing to give you an idea, well, oil's at the same price since Saudi made all of those cuts. And even today, I think the data was a draw, and oil still did not really move up even after hours. So a lot of different movers there. The oil companies have done pretty decent comparative to oil as a commodity. So keep that in mind when you're looking at all of them. But that is pretty much it, chat. I have no other plays that I made either yesterday or the day before that. Kind of guiding and coasting like we've been saying, but kind of waiting for some other moves here. And then again, kind of waiting for the bonds to move. Data got it moving a little today, but you know, that question of 06 or 01, we still haven't answered it yet, and now earnings is about to start, and then it's Jerome Powell, and don't forget, Jerome Powell in the morning, bright and early, baby, so we'll see you. But that's it, baby. That's it, Chad. That is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate, healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to remember, baby, it's all good. You got to keep pushing. All you got to do is say, okay, keep pushing. It's fine. You're going to deal with a lot of things, good, bad. Some people going to like you. Some will agree, disagree. I need you to say, okay, put it in dry, and let's go, baby. I'm sorry. I don't know if his earbuds are fixed, but if you have to get the inside joke if you don't get it. And then you see this? You see, I learned this one from Sam Obasanya. You know what I'm saying? I say I'm going to stand up for. Sam Obasanya taught me this one. They don't know about the Greyhounds. It's I've run. Oh, woo! You see that? Oh, Chad, that could have been a great video, but I'm glad the Lord protected me. I need to check it. Maybe I just felt dramatic. I got to see the replay, but I went up on two wheels right there. That was crazy. Okay, I'm gonna leave now, Horn.